Hello, everyone, and great to have you with us. We welcome you to the brand new Coaches Show here at Stevens College. First 10 episodes will be focusing on Don Trentham and Maggie Hans, who's joining us right now. Soccer and volleyball seasons are officially underway, so we are more than excited to get their thoughts on this upcoming year. Maggie, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, let's go back a year. Last season was the first one for you in the AMC.
Yes.
First one as well for Stevens College. Talk to me a
Yes.
little bit about that transition, how you got the role with Stevens, and kind of some learning points in year one.
So year one was absolutely transformational for me. Going from the KCAC to the AMC, it was very different, but it's still the same. I just wanted to be a part of a different conference and see what it was about, and I really enjoy this conference. I've enjoyed being a part of it with the different coaches, and I would just say it's a little bit of a different technique and style when it comes from different conferences. So it's been I've had an enjoyment moment here while being here at Stevens and accepting this role. I was hired in February of not last year, but the year before. And so I've been a full year in. This will be my second season. And I will say it's been a bit of a transition in general, but I'm really excited for this year, and I'm excited for the team that we have and the roster that we've built together in this last year.
Let's talk a little bit more about that transition you just mentioned from last season to this one on the player side of things, right? What did that recruiting look like for you? And what did you guys work on specifically when the spring season came about?
Well, so it was moving from last season to this season. We had 5 core returners from that last year's starting class. And so we really wanted to build on top of that. Not only did we return our first team all conference setter, but also our defender of the year. And also we returned Amari Branch Ottman, who's our middle, and Lena Hunziker, who the year before was freshman of the year on the outside. So we do have a good core. So we really wanted to build a foundation around them, but also we're looking at stability here at Stevens. So not only did we want to have retention with them, but we wanted to build a culture that we wanted to be proud of so that we can leave a legacy this year at Stevens, because we've been building one. So,
what are the expectations coming into this year? I know you guys were picked to finish second in the AMC. Well, obviously the goal is to finish first.
Yes.
But besides just wins and losses in general, what are the expectations for this season?
Like I said, again, stability is one. We want a sound culture here at Stevens. We want a good foundation of not only leadership, but good character amongst our whole program. I do believe that chemistry can beat skill. So building that team and that teamwork, having a sisterhood is a little bit more important than just the wins and losses. You know, we want to win not only on the court, but we want to win in life. Yes, volleyball is obviously a priority, but so is our schoolwork, our academics, our careers. And so just making sure that we're pouring into each other across all of those avenues. I would say that's really a big part of our culture that we're bringing this year, as well as we have 9 international students this year, athletes that we're very proud to have. And so having a different demographic as well as culture and installing and integrating different cultures has been something that I think that we're trying to bring to Stevens this year as well.
Well, not only new players, but also a brand new coaching staff for you. 3 new assistant coaches, and I know you're super excited about each and every one of them. Talk to me a little bit more about how they came to Stevens College and how that dynamic has been working for you guys so far.
I will say not just my recruiting class, but as well as my staff, I'm completely blessed this year. We did just have a transition in staff. I had Fernanda Braga this past spring, who was a huge help in not only laying the foundation through fundamentals and work, but now I've hired Naomi Franco, who is an alumni from Mizzou, and she played her last season there, as well as I have volunteered Jade Melton, who played at William Penn, and I have Kelsey Vogler, who was the previous Cap City high school coach. So we have a sound foundation when it comes to staff. Again, I will say I'm blessed. I can't say that enough. This year has been not even just the transition has been easier, but the support and the way that I get to delegate and the responsibilities that we have across staff in helping the team. I feel like we have a much better wide umbrella to touch each athlete and be able to help coach each athlete. Because I know when it comes to coaches, you know, we all have different philosophies and different ways. I definitely wanted to find a staff that was going to support my team this year on all aspects of life and on and off the court.
Getting a little bit more into the nitty-gritty of this season, let's start with the non-conference schedule. Not a single home game for you guys, but you
No.
said that wasn't necessarily planned.
Wasn't necessarily planned. Preseason's a pretty heavy travel time, especially with tournaments. We are on the road for Missouri Valley this weekend, and then next weekend we have Kansas Wesleyan in Ottawa, so we're very excited. Preseason's heavy travel. That's normally what it is, but at the end of the day, also, when it came to our season this year, our conference did change a bit. The AMC is now on a tri-quad schedule, so it did open up a few weeks for us to branch out of that non-con. So we do see ourselves going and playing Missouri Baptist. We're playing William Woods still. And not only that, but we've got Manhattan Christian and Evangel. And so we've got a few different schools that I'm excited to go see. It also didn't help, but we are on a two-way home and away. So last year they were here, and now we're traveling to them. So next year we'll have a lot of home games, actually, and how it works out.
Are you happy with how it turned out, non-con wise?
Non-con, I'm excited for the travel. I'm excited to play heavier competition. I really believe with the team that I have this year that was one of the expectations was going into this non-conference and this preseason. We wanted to challenge ourselves, and we wanted to see what level of competition we could really play with. And again, we were seeded second, so we want to play those types of teams that are pushing us to be that first seat in conference. So.
Let's talk a little bit more about this past game, the lone one for you guys so far, with 3-1 loss in sets to Mid-Am. They're a really good team of Mid-America. What did you see from your girls that game?
Honestly, from my team, I was very proud. We played them the previous year, and I will say this year I felt like we had a firm foundation, not only in skills, but when it came to team across the board. I felt like we had a little bit of more motivation, fire underneath us. I also feel like I have good leadership this year. I have a firm foundation of girls that not only have the hustle and the grit, but they have the desire and the want, and they have the want to play together. And so I really felt like that persevered in this last game, as well as it was our first game. You know, other teams are playing and they've got 4 or 5 games in. We're starting out the bat, and I will have to say, yes, we do have things to work on, but it was a great game to come off of and reflect from, especially being our first one.
What are a couple key things that you want to see improvement-wise when you guys head to Missouri Valley this weekend that you want to take away from the game against Mid-Am?
One is just our level of nerves. Like, I think being in the first game, traveling, you always have those first game nerves. We have a lot of newcomers on my team, so just making sure that we're integrating that and we are providing that level of confidence across the board for each other. But when it comes to skill-based, we're just looking to pick up some foundational things that we worked on the last 2 days in practice. Again, it's a fast turnaround, but we know that our girls are absorbing and they're really trying to apply. And so we're excited to see the increase in not only service receive, but our offense. We're really trying to run a faster offense when it comes to our offense and our front row players, and just making sure that we're splitting our offense up there.
Last thing before I let you go, and I'll put you on the spot right here. Season, a lot of it, well, the majority is still ahead of you guys. One thing that you're most excited about?
I'm most excited for us to play tournament and see where we land. I know that's so far ahead, and I have a lot of stepping stones before that, but I just know the potential that we see in this team and the way that me and my staff are pushing this team. And so we're playing at a neutral site this year. We're playing in St. Louis at the Beal Center. And so I think it'll be a little different dynamic walking into the tournament. Whereas majority of the time, you know, we're playing at the top seed, which is normally MOBAP or Columbia. I think this gives us a different type of level of Stevens that we haven't had in the past.
Well, we're super excited for what this season has to hold. Maggie, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Well, now we have the pleasure of being joined by the soccer head coach here at Stevens, Don Trentham. Don, thank you so much for your time. It's a pleasure getting to chat with you.
Yeah, excited about this, Esteban.
Well, I want you to take me over to a couple years back. Let's go back to your playing days and your early coaching days. Just walk me through how all of that started, both as a player and then how you got ultimately in the coaching side of things.
Yeah, it was, played over in St. Louis with Scott Gallagher, one of the top clubs in the country, and played with a lot of good players over there, which was a great experience. After graduating high school, went to Missouri State. Southwest Missouri at the time, and played a year down there. Good experience. Transferred to Columbia College, came to Columbia, Missouri, was part of the AMC as a player, and part of some really good teams over there. We won a conference championship, played for the late Coach Dan Hogan, who is a Hall of Famer in the AMC. So he really kind of got me into the love of coaching. Started working with the youth team when I was in college here. It's called Columbia Pride back in the day. And yeah, just kind of fell in love with it. I've always liked to teach. I love soccer, so I kind of put the two of them together, and that's kind of how I got into it.
So fast forwarding a little bit, you recently got a new job as the head coach at Stevens. Your first season, you guys just kicked off the season 1 week ago. How did that role come about? How did you hear about it? How did that go?
Yeah, so I'm in my 27th year of coaching. Love Columbia, Missouri. Kind of been all over as the coaching business. You kind of go all over the country and coaching, and I've had the pleasure of coaching at some great institutions, University of Missouri being one of them. How I ended up at Stevens, I actually went over to Europe, to Austria, and coached a Bundesliga 2 team over there. And upon returning, I went to Columbia College and coached alongside John Klein over there last year. And we went to the Final Four. It was really fun being back in the NAIA and being a part of this conference and being a part of a really good team there. In the off season was as you always do in the coaching business, interviewing, looking at a couple different places. But it was something about this place that really attracted me. And I think the thing that really attracted me, this is an amazing small private college. There's amazing things happening on this campus right now. And an opportunity to come in and be part of building something from, we won 2 games last year. So it is what it is. Building something from kind of the ground up really attracted me, and doing it in a community in a college town that I love was exciting to me.
That's something I really want to talk about as well, and wanted to touch on. You said building something. You also brought in an entire new coaching staff, which really translates to you guys wanting to get this program back where it should belong, where it's going to reach new heights. You mentioned that excites you. Talk about the new coaching staff that you brought in and kind of what you're looking forward to doing with them.
Well, when I got here, I actually had some really good coaches here that were good. But as a lot of times you come into a new program, you're going to bring in your own people, and I had the fortune of kind of having conversations with Coach Blitz, who I had worked for 6 years over at the University of Missouri, and we kind of started talking, and then all of a sudden it kind of started to evolve. And it's like, what do you think about switching roles and being an assistant for me? And he loves this community as well, an opportunity for him to come back and be part of the family and us work together. So I kind of hit the jackpot there to get a 30 plus year Division I head coach, 25-year head coach in the SEC and Big 12. So that was a great addition to the staff. And then brought in a couple others, and Will Tate, who's just finished his playing career. I think he's going to be a young up-and-coming coach for sure. He's got a lot of passion for teaching and coaching. And then 2 local youth coaches, Della Long and Alexis Hecht, who just give me a variety on my staff. I think for me, I have 4 really good assistant coaches, and they all bring something special. They all bring value, and they really bring a balance to my staff. So I'm pretty lucky as a head coach. They always say surround yourself with good people. Mm-hmm. I've surrounded myself with good people, mm-hmm. Great people.
What's the culture that you guys are aiming to bring to this new program? What are you guys trying to, besides wins and losses, build?
Yeah, I think winning, when you're in this business and you're a coach and coaching in college, you tend to get judged off of wins and losses. But for me, ever since early in my career, I've always judged the success of my program in developing people, graduating my students. And then the winning part is the third part of that equation for me. And it's very important because I'm one of the most competitive people you'll meet. But I want good people in our program, and I want students that want to come here and get a degree from Stevens College. So that's the culture ultimately that we're looking to build. I inherited a fantastic group of people, hardworking people that are committed not only to Stevens soccer, but Stevens College.
Mm-hmm. What was the recruiting process for you like this offseason? Obviously, first year, it seems to be a little bit harder that first year. You
Mm-hmm.
don't necessarily bring in all the players that you want to, as in year 2, year 3 opposed. What was that a challenge kind of for you?
Challenge, I think for me, I wanted to start from within. I wanted to recruit the players that were already here. I think a coaching change is a challenge for any new player. So for me, I wanted to focus on the players that were here and building that culture, building the things that we wanted to look for, get buy-in from them. And once we started doing that, I got here in February, so kind of the transfer portal had kind of already kind of been picked apart a little bit. High school seniors had kind of committed by that time, most of them. So we went out and we just tried to find some good athletes, some good people, and we were fortunate enough to get a couple players that were going to go to Mizzou to flip over here to Stevens College. So now they get the best of both worlds. They can play soccer, they can go to college, and they can also experience the life of being a student in a college town with Mizzou in it. We were able to land a couple transfer internationals. So for us, I'm really happy. We brought in 9 players. We kept 10 players, so we've got a good 19 players here that all want to be a part of this culture, and that's great people, get a degree, and win some games.
Right. Getting a little bit more into the nitty gritty soccer side of things, what is, at least for this first season, what do you anticipate your guys' style of play to be? What can fans expect?
Style of play is the question always, right? Everybody wants to know what the style of play is. I think for me, I've never been set like we have to play this way or we have to play this formation. I'm always going to look at the strengths and weaknesses of my squad, and we're going to be flexible and adaptable in how we play and what we try and do. Ultimately, style of play for me is winning. So how do we win?
Mm-hmm.
And I think so. We'll get to style play here in a little bit, but it's the culture you have, the hard work, the blue collar, the commitment to each other. That's what I want to start with.
Mm-hmm.
As we're building that, I want to win, and our players want to win. They work hard every day to do that. We're going to be a tough team to play against. We're going to work hard from the first minute of the game all the way to the 90th minute of the game. How we do that, what style we play, if we have to be direct, we'll be direct. If we can play out of the back through the midfield, we'll play out there. But ultimately, we want to be sound defensively, make it hard for teams, and then find a way in the attack, whether that's being direct or keeping the ball.
Going back to last game, the first of the season, against CMU, 4-0. It was the Eagles that took that victory. What were your takeaways? It's a really good team of CMU. They're ranked inside the top 25, made the national tournament last year. It's a great competition to begin the year with.
Very good team, Central Methodist. That's where us as a program, we definitely hope to be there someday. I think they're very well coached. They were organized. That's a team that having been in the Final Four last year, that's a team that will get to the national tournament, and if things go right for them, can probably make a deep run in the national tournament. So a lot of respect for what they did. For us, going into that game, yeah, it's 4-0. They definitely had the run of play. They definitely had the shots. We didn't have a lot in attack, but I saw, we were watching film yesterday, and I see a team that fought from the first minute of the game all the way to the 90th minute of the game, competed. 4-0. We're not here for moral victories. Last time we played that team 3-4 years ago, we lost 16-1. So we're gonna look at that, and we're gonna be, we're proud. Our program took a step that night. 4-0 loss. It's hard to say we took a step, but we did, because last time they scored 16 goals on us. So I was proud of the effort and just ultimately the growth of our team every single day. But it's good to play some of the best and see where you're at and see where you need to get to.
Well, by the time this episode gets released, this game tonight would already come to a conclusion. But I want to get your thoughts on what to expect tonight against Culver Stockton, game 2 of the season.
Yeah, this will be the third team we've played from that conference. Central Methodist, obviously, we did do a scrimmage against Missouri Valley, who's also one of the top teams in that conference. So it'll be another tough test. That's a good conference. Culver Stockton is a team that's coming off an 8-0 win. So certainly they have a lot of confidence. Last year they beat us 5-0. So our goal tonight is to go out there and again compete and put ourselves in a position to get a result at the end of the day, because we aren't looking for moral victory. We want to beat Central Methodist. We want to beat every team in our conference, and sometimes it takes time to get there. But we expect a tough team in Culver Stockton because they come from a good conference, and they took it to us last year. So it'll be another tough test for us.
Last one before I let you go. One thing that you're most looking forward to this season?
I just really enjoy this group of players. I've got 19 student athletes that are very coachable. They enjoy being around each other. We're a family. We don't always get along. When I hear coaches say, "Oh, we get along every day, and we're this perfect family," I don't know if the perfect family exists as a team. But what I like about this team is their energy. They enjoy being around each other. They work hard. So it makes it easy to go in and run a training session or have a team meeting because they're growing. And that's exciting as a coach to watch that growth. And I'm excited to see where we are in November come American Midwest Conference tournament time.
Totally agree. Coach, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. A pleasure
Thanks a lot.
catching up.
Yeah, thank you.